You feel it in your energy, you feel it in your sleep quality, you feel it in your muscles, you feel it in your bones. Like, I don't know. My body just had that dependency again. I know. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Megs. I make videos about healthy living and really sharing what stages my life is at and the things that I'm learning in those stages of life. And so in this stage of my life, I'm kind of like in a busy girl era. Like I feel like I've said that my life has been busy probably for the last 10 years of my life, but these last few months have just been like a lot busier. Because of that, a lot of the healthy habits that I had built up, they kind of just like fell off, and that's okay. And I realized that that's something that I tend to do is when I have either a particular project or works happening, I kind of hyper focus on that project or whatever that one thing is, and I let everything else kind of just like take a back seat. In the past, I have beat myself up for it. I've gotten mad at myself. I'm like, I've made all this progress. Why did I just let it go? But in working on not letting that happen in the future, I also just kind of let myself have grace and kind of saw it as, like I'm not going to force myself to continue on with absolutely everything that I have going on. I'm going to let myself take a break in certain aspects because I don't want to burn out. I don't want to end up hating the things that I'm doing for myself that are actually good for me because I'm feeling like I'm forcing myself to do them for the sake of just doing them. And you know what? We're all human. Life ebbs and flows. Life goes up, life goes down, and certain times in our lives are much busier than others. And so I'm going to share with you 5 super simple things that I've already started doing, and they're just easy. They're not life-changing revolutionary habits. They're little things that I'm just slowly implementing back into my life that are helping me slowly start to feel better. And the goal with this is to slowly add things, and then kind of like atomic habits, the habit stacking rule is when I do get those healthy habits and I'm kind of like having them easily integrated into my busy routine, then I'm gonna feel good about it. I'm gonna start feeling better. I'm gonna notice the benefits, and it's gonna be easier for me to habit stack and add more things on top of that. So we're gonna start off with the first one, quitting coffee again. I know. I went through this whole entire process at the beginning of 2022 where I quit coffee. That worked so well for me. I had a huge number of reasons why I decided to quit coffee. And although it was challenging to let go of something that I had been doing religiously for like over 10 years probably, I tremendously felt the benefits from it. So why did I go back? Well, I saw coffee as a bit of a reward for myself. So I would still have the occasional cup or two, but it was a reward. It wasn't a dependency at that point. And it was winter, it was cold, life was busy, it was dark and gloomy outside, and I kind of just got into this silly habit of every time I would get a little bit stressed out or, I'd be anxious or overwhelmed with something, I would let myself have a coffee as a reward to feel better. My body just had that dependency again of having that caffeine boost, and that turned into feeling like I needed a coffee every single morning, which then turned into feeling like I needed 2 coffees every single day. And I started again feeling the effects that made me want to quit in the first place. And I realized I don't want this anymore. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be dependent on this. I don't want to have the effects that coffee was giving me. And here we are quitting again. But since I had already quit once before, I kind of knew what I needed to do to make it a little bit easier on myself. And the biggest thing was to have something that you can replace it with in your routine. So rather than completely ripping that out, you actually want to replace it with something else. So that's where today's sponsor comes in, mud water. So mud water is a beverage that is actually meant to be a healthy replacement to your coffee. And if you haven't heard of mud water before, which I'd be surprised if you haven't because they're everywhere, mud water is a unique blend of masala chai, cacao, mushrooms, and adaptogens. You can have it with either hot water, hot milk, you can add it to your smoothies. There's really endless ways you can use it. My personal favorite is to just kind of have it as though I would have my coffee. So I just blend it with some hot water, and sometimes I just like to have a black. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of almond milk or oat milk, and then usually if I have it in the afternoon, I add a little bit of honey just to give me like that extra little kick of something sweet and just something to like sip on and enjoy. So it does still have a little bit of caffeine in it, so you're not completely, like ripping caffeine out of your diet, but it has that little bit from the cacao that gives you enough of a boost, but it doesn't give you the high and the low that a coffee will. So coffee almost like borrows energy from your future self, whereas this drink just gives you like that steady like caffeine throughout the day. You're not feeling the jitters, you're not feeling like the high, the intense anxiety, and then the crash where you feel like you need something else. And I also started bringing it to work with me because again, when I do feel like I need that like little soother, I just have another mud water. I'm not reaching for coffee because I have something else that I can easily make for myself to then give me that little like relief that I'm looking for. The taste is also really, really good. And I've said this in my previous video. And as for taste, I mean, it tastes like mud water, but in a good way. Like I think they named it really, really well. I don't even know how to like really, I don't know. It tastes like mud water. It does, but it tastes good. So it tastes like mud water, but like in the best way. So if you've ever wanted to try it, I definitely recommend doing so. And Mud Water has actually given me my own sponsored link for you all. So I'll have it right over here and in the description box below. But this essentially gives you $20 off of their starter kit, which comes with the beverage itself, as well as a free frother. And this frother just makes it super simple to blend the drinks and enjoy them. So you can bring it with you to work, you can have it in the morning, whatever point of your day you're enjoying your coffee, you can have your mud water as well. And this brings me to my second habit that I'm bringing back, which is having electrolytes consistently. So this is kind of backpacking off of the coffee. So coffee dehydrates you, and electrolytes are meant to replenish your hydration and make you feel a lot better throughout the day. I used to have electrolytes. I've talked about them a lot, and I definitely rely on them a lot when I feel down, but I realized that I was only relying on them when I felt like I really needed them. Whereas I kind of just started taking them every single day and realized that it helped me feel so much better. And the way that I found that is easiest for me is buying electrolytes in little like single serve to go packets, because it makes it so much easier to bring it with me on the go. I don't really like having them in the morning because it just, to me, it's not a morning thing, it's more of an afternoon thing. And so it's super easy to just have a little packet, throw it in my lunch kit when I'm having my lunch at work, just put it in my water, drink my electrolytes, and I feel so much better. And so again, it's just about finding ways to integrate it into your life to make it smoother and not basically make it feel like it's this really hard thing that you have to add on top of your routine. My third habit that I'm resetting but making it simple so it works is movement 3 times a week. When I got busy, it's like the gym and working out is just always the first thing to go. And I hate that. Because I need working out for my mental health more than I need it for my physical health. But for some reason, it's like I had this like aversion to it, and I don't know. And I'm really sorry to my trainer because I have not been the most fun client lately, but I could not get myself to work out. And so I didn't force myself to do it. I didn't guilt myself into doing it. But with that said, I definitely miss the way I feel, and you feel it in your energy, you feel it in your sleep quality, you feel it in your muscles, you feel it in your bones. Like when you're used to working out and you stop, you feel it. And so rather than kind of just forcing myself to go back to the gym, I've just been telling myself that I need to move 3 times a week, but however I move is fine. 3 times a week of movement to kind of like ease me back into it, to help me just feel better overall. The fourth thing, this is something new that I haven't tried in the past before. It's hard to get into, but when you do it, you feel so much better. It's having 2 do nothing evenings every single week. So for 2 evenings a week, I do nothing related to just getting things off my to-do list, essentially. I feel like when you kind of get into like that busy, like you have a job and then you have a side hustle and then you have a social life and you have errands to run and responsibilities and a to-do list, you kind of just like get in the habit of like constantly doing something. And even when you don't have anything pressing, you're still wanting to get things accomplished and off your to-do list. But that's just like the easiest way to burn out and to just feel like you're never fully well rested. And so what I've started to do is to make myself have 2 evenings where I'm not basically working on my to-do list, is what I like to think of it. Rest is productive because you're going to feel better the next day. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be more motivated. And that for me has been more beneficial than trying to keep getting things off my to-do list and just feeling like I'm really just forcing it. And the last healthy habit that I'm resetting is like a version of something that I used to do, but it's also kind of new. So it's listening to motivational speeches in my downtime. And I love to do this, especially in the morning, because first thing in the morning is when your brain is the most like receptive and like the most absorbent to things. And so when I'm getting ready in the morning or when I'm just making my lunch and stuff like that, I will put my AirPods in and I'm going to listen to a motivational speech from YouTube. And I don't like particularly pick a specific one. You can look up motivational speeches on YouTube and there are hundreds and thousands of them out there. You'll literally never run out, and they're usually pretty long. I just put one on, and while I'm getting ready, while I'm driving, while I'm walking, I'm listening to one. And even if I'm not paying attention to the exact words, or I'm not, you know, completely tuned into this, subconsciously, I'm still hearing all of these things playing, and it's helping with my motivation, because that's something that I found when I was just super busy and kind of running on autopilot. I was just losing my motivation. I was losing inspiration. I wasn't feeling creative. And I was just like, man, do I just suck? I just didn't have that, like, you know, extra sense of motivation. And this was a way that I found that was easy to integrate. You just, while you're doing other things, you just put your AirPods in and you just press play, and you put your phone down, you forget about it, and you just listen to it. And again, it's not about tuning in and taking notes and listening to every single word. It's just, it's playing. Whether you're listening to it or not, your subconscious is still absorbing the things you're hearing. This is just super easy things that I'm adding. Some are physical, some are mental, that are really helping me kind of get back into those habits. And again, it's not about beating yourself up, because I realized this is a pattern for me. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, when something big comes up, when work gets busy, I fall off, and that's okay. And it's something that I'm going to work on. And so to try not to do that moving forward. But while this is my reality, these are the little things that I'm doing to help myself get back into healthier habits. And that ends today's video. So thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. That really helps to support me and my channel. Know yourself, know your body, and until next time.